Good morning, afternoon or evening, depending on what time of day you're watching this, or indeed whereabouts in the world you are. I'm Mog.
I'm 4040.
And this is Kerbal Space Program, and we're doing something slightly different for the next few weeks, aren't we, sir?
We are indeed. In fact, what we're doing is Mr. Mod here is joining in with my Kerbal Space Program PVP series. He is being he's joining us, so we now have 3 separate and independent players. So this should be fun.
And we're playing this in 0.21 for whatever reason. Why are we playing it in 0.21?
Mod stability.
Ah, okay, that's cool.
I spent a long time making sure these mods were right, and they didn't screw the game up or have any stupid crashes.
Whoa!
Yes. You're not allowed to physically look at them, but that's my go. You zoom out. It is recorded, but that's my go.
CIP is Cryox Industries.
Yes, CI designates who I am, which is Cryox Industries. -P means it is a private build, which means not only you're not allowed to look at it in this view, to actually like go and press fly, you're not allowed to do that.
You mean I can't click on one of these and then click on the launch icon, right?
No. You also cannot look at the save file when you're in the VAB.
That's fair enough. So ideally we want to be setting all of our builds to private, I'm guessing.
Yes, put -P in the name. If you don't put -P, it means that it's not a private vessel, we can look at it. For example, if we do like a community build, or if you want to build a vessel that's non-militarized but is still yours.
How long ago did you have, by the way? Because there's a lot of... Explain for me and as everybody else at home how exactly this is going to work, because all I get is we have a save file, we share it with each other, and I'm a bit confused, if I'm honest.
Okay, well I've just gone over the first few rules, so we've got them out of the way already. Another quite simple one is you're not allowed to end each other's flights, so if it's not yours you can't do shit with it. You are allowed to build neutral vessels listed as NC, which is the 4th faction, which is called the Northern Coalition. They're kind of like the government. But if you have some spare time, you want to build something cool and stick it up, and you don't... Yeah. Build something that's labelled NC. If you can't see an enemy's craft, you can't switch to it to view it. You need to have a craft within 30k of an enemy's craft for you to flick to it using the controls.
Okay.
Once you flick to it, you can't push any of the buttons or make it do stuff, but you can have a good look around it. Because that's a reasonable distance for if you've got cameras on your ship or like laser designators on your ship to get a good look at another ship. So I think that's a pretty reasonable distance as 30k.
I've got no objections, so here's the question, and is there a limit as to what I can actually build, how many times I can launch during my turn before I have to pass the save file on? I'll shut up for a moment.
Yes. Well, into the nitty-gritty, you want to make all the weaponry you have, you've got to make it, so no pre-made mods, we've already covered that with all. As for flying stuff, to be able to have something in orbit around a body, you must already have a command control satellite or command control fleet vessel, which are like super class vessels. If you don't, if all your satellites are wiped out or your big command vessel is wiped out, unfortunately you can't do anything until you've sent some more satellites or command vessels up.
Okay, so basically do what you've done, which is fill the planet with satellites then?
Yeah, I mean, having a fuck ton of satellites up is it's kind of like insurance against somebody one-shotting you and forcing you to spend your next turn just sending satellites up.
Is there a roleplay reason for the satellites?
It is a slight roleplay reason, but also if you don't have targeting data, triangulating data, any data telling you how high your vessel is, how can your commands tell where to send your piloted strike vessels? So
in essence we're trying to replicate something that the game doesn't already cater for then?
Yes, there are mods out there that do this exactly, which I've forgotten the name off the top of my head, but there are a few mods which force you to put satellites up and make so if you lose communications you can't control your vessel anymore. We're kind of mimicking that. It's a bit more realistic, and also it means that somebody can't just glomp a planet. other people will see they've got at least one turn to react to the fact that you've just put a fuck ton of satellites around somewhere.
Okay, so what's the limit on me actually making launches each turn?
Aha, right. In each go, you get either you can launch one flight from the ground and do what you want with it, or if you've got multiple flights in orbit and space already, you can manipulate two. So you can do two things if you've already got them up, or you can do one thing if you're launching from the ground from fresh.
So let me make sure it's right. I got this right. Per turn, I can launch one thing. Sorry, Mr. 4040, but I count several there. How long?
They were all launched on the same craft. That's part of the setup phase. All of the satellites were sent up on one ship, and then the only other thing that's up there, which is a vessel, was sent up on the second go, which also sent satellites up in its own right too.
Second go? This is my first go.
I'll get to that in a second. So, you've got your standard turn. You can, if you're getting your ass whooped, declare a ceasefire. A ceasefire stops all acts of aggression for 2 full turns, so everybody gets 2 full goes, the ceasefire gets passed around 2 times before it comes back to you, at which point we can kick each other's asses again. And at the start of my turn is the initial setup phase. We have an automatic ceasefire, which means you get 2 turns before anything happens. But rather than passing the ceasefire around lots, we basically just get 2 turns, bang bang, and then pass the file on. So you get 2 launches.
So just to make sure I got this right, we get 2 goes for our first go, effectively, and
yes,
per go we can launch one thing or piss about with 2 things already in orbit.
Yeah.
Right. So far so good. How do we win? I think it's the question everybody's now asking at home.
How you win, the last series I managed to neutralise all of Nightshade's craft. Nightshade is the third person. He had nothing in orbit that could attack me. He only had 1 operational ship and it had lost half of its engines, so... And I just had a sheer amount of ships, all fully armed and armoured, basically swarming around the planet, so it got to the point where we're like, even with the ceasefire, it's probably best to start a season.
How many ceasefires do you get before you carry on?
Within reason. I'm happy if you have got your ass absolutely handed to you and you've got nothing in orbit, no satellites, no nothing, then it's reasonable to ask for a ceasefire. Asking for multiple ceasefires in a row, we've never come across that. We've never come across that before. I don't think. Yeah. I don't think we should be able to ask for multiple ceasefires in a row. You can ask for a couple, like have a turn, then ask for another ceasefire. Unless there's something horrifically gone wrong and like one of us is just winning and the other 2 are just crying their eyes out, at which point you go, yeah, okay, I don't mind a couple of ceasefires in a row, let you guys get back on your feet.
Fair enough. So,
winning conditions, until the other person capitulates, or until there's a reasonable... Yeah, until people fold their cards, basically.
So basically, until we decide to be sporting, go, okay, you win.
Yeah.
This isn't I quit. Okay.
Yes, 2 more small rules. You're not allowed to dock or take fuel from an enemy ship.
Pretty much a given.
Or neutral ships, unless you have express permission. So you can collaborate with each other. That's a thing that can happen. And once you've received the game file, you're given your save file, and then in your week you have to do your thing and then pass it over. So Mod here has until Sunday, which is a full week.
I think for this episode we shall, for now anyway, because we're running unlimited time, unfortunately, because I chose a bad day of the week for this. We should be able to get 1 turn out of the way and done with, and then maybe we can record another turn and stick that up middle of the week or something before passing on to Nightshade.
Sure.
So without further ado, it's just a case of build something, stick a satellite or several satellites up on it, and then go, right?
Yeah. I mean, me and Nightshade, we appear in each other's videos while we're recording. I don't mind helping you out. yes, I'm a competitor, but I won't deliberately give you bad advice.
We've got a lot of bits here. Why don't you tell everybody what mods you've demanded I install for this?
We've got Mechajab Point 2.
There!
Which I know for you and for myself, and it's not necessary, not really necessary, but for Nightshade, who's a relative novice of the game, he enjoys the game a lot. He really, really likes the building and the flying and stuff, but he has a really hard time with getting his head around the actual nitty-gritty of the game, like getting stuff into orbit and things. So Mechajab really does help him. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, it's just an option that is there. We also have 2 mod packs that are basically lots of additional parts. We've got B9 Aerospace, which we have played around before in a couple of your earlier episodes, which is more to do with it's lots of aeroplane parts, lots of cool jet engines, lots of bodies so you can make SSTOs. And then the last one is the KW Rocketry Pack, which is extra large rocketry engines and or similar sized rocket engines but different ISPs and fuel consumptions and stuff. So lots of extra parts, so you can build insanely large things. I've hit a buffer though when I built a craft which has got over 1,500 parts in it. The game kind of falls apart at that point and doesn't know what to do. So lags, because it's trying to render all of those parts, even the ones you can't see, and it has only so much time to do the rendering before it's supposed to hop onto the next frame. If it can't render within that time, the game starts dropping off other equations, and one of the main ones it seems to drop off is the attachment values, which means it falls apart. Everything loses contact with everything and ends up just in a massive fireball, which is funny yet annoying.
I can imagine.
Yes. So, for your very first launch, you are restricted to having to send up some kind of satellite-y, control-y kind of thing, because that will then give you the option of sending up craft which are more vigorous, let's say, more attacky.
Power.
Now you can send up one satellite. You can send up a big station kind of satellite, or you can send up hundreds of tiny ones, or you can send up anything in between, really. It has to for it to be classed as satellite, it has to have a comms device on it. One of those two, yeah. And generally our satellites are not weaponized.
Okay, so you say I could count a station as a satellite then?
You stick the comms devices on it, yes.
Okay, I like that plan. I like that a lot. We'll do that.
But stations tend to be large targets. Large targets are easier to hit.
So good. What do we need that station? We didn't want that station anyway, right? 4040.
Okay. Are you going to be making a variant of the Obsidian Labs?
No. I'm just going to build something with lots of docking ports on it and go power.
Okay. Cool. So it's going to be like a mobile refueling docking port, which hopefully you might add a bit of armor on so it doesn't go pop the very first thing thrown at it.
Yeah, armour. Would that be just a case of putting plates around the things on struts so that it hits the plating before the actual item?
Yes. In structural, you've got a whole load of extra armour plates. Big flat things, and these are big. Next page. There you go. These are armour plates. These are big, with a capital B. Some of them are hollow. Some of them are bigger, but if you look at their strengths and values, they're actually pretty tough. Look, impact tolerance 400.
That's pretty damn good.
That means a combined force for it to let go of whatever it's attached to of 400 tons. So you either need to throw 400 tons at it, or you need to throw something with the impact force of 400 tons, i.e. an explosion.
Can't ever go wrong with explosions.
Yeah. So the name of the game for this, if you're building it big, you're going to want to build it with armour, you're going to want to add a load of struts to it to hold it together. You're going to want to, if you've got the choice between different parts, you're probably going to want to go with parts which are generally stronger.
Okay.
Because then it will survive stuff happening to it.
Stuff.
Stuff.
That's a very non-committal stuff. 40-40.
You might also, if you fancy being a bit brave, sending up a flat pack station.
No.
So you assemble it once it's up in orbit. You send all the parts up in one go, and then you just literally just undock them from each other and they're folded down, then just swivel them around, and then redock them.
I am not feeling brave in the slightest today, 40-40.
No?
No. Maybe another time. But I just want to get something up in... Oh god, that's huge! That's what she said.
Yeah. Like I said, some of these parts are quite big. They allow you to really kind of stretch your legs with the whole building thing. If you're worried about getting stuff off the ground, just stick a bigger fuel tank and a bigger engine on the bottom of it.
You cannot go wrong with more power.
As you can see, it does have standard parts, like the one you've used on there, the KSP thing, but they've been reskinned, so they look prettier. So, what's the thought process behind what you're making now?
Lots of RCS. And see how I go from there.
Okay.
I need docking ports. Where are they? Control? No, they're not control. They're structural, aren't they?
Structural or utility, one or the other.
This is weird. I mean, you're supposed to be fighting against me, yet you're helping me, and it's just like, why? It's conflicting.
I'm totally not a spy.
Oh no, that's too big. That's too small.
Should you just want a standard docking port?
I tried the standard one, but it wouldn't go, and I can't be asked for silly noises today.
Wow, you're really in a rush.
I told you. You don't listen to mod, do you? Never listen to mod. Ever, 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 ever listen to mod.
Sorry, what? Hey, what? Saying something?
Mamma mia! Shut up your face!
I like the fact you're using covered docking ports as well.
Struts, struts, struts.
You've got a choice of struts. You've got your heavy strut, which is... it weighs a ton, literally.
Oh shit, it does.
But look at its strength and shear strength.
Indestructible.
Yeah, it's a lot of noughts.
That one's better.
Yeah, you got medium is halfway. Nice halfway house. Are you trying to bring them onto the white thing?
Yes. Should I
start on the white thing and then go up?
Yes, I was just thinking that. No. There we go, snap 2. I'm trying to use keyboard shortcuts.
Go,
there
keyboard.
we go. Bit of extra reinforcement. So
Okay,
panels need to go on this somewhere. Rushing, 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 rushing. Extra large ones, plus power.
Yeah, sure. Have a think about like adding redundant systems.
Such as...
Well, for example, those are the biggest solar panels, which means lots of power, but they're also easier to hit and they break easier. But if you add some of the little nuclear power generator things and kind of snuggle them in somewhere, then all of a sudden, if I break all the solar panels, your ship isn't exactly crippled, it just has low power. Thinking of redundant systems in case you do get attacked, and if you do get attacked you get major bits snapped off, but you still have the majority of it okay. Also, having multiple of those aerials would be good too, just in case the same happens.
In that case, boop. Boop.
Good. Well, at least you're doing it first. Me and Nightshade have not as of yet decided to put our own stations up.
Start as you mean to go on. Ambitious but rubbish.
Yeah, we've kept to the day that Nightshade's kind of like started to beat me a little bit before it all went wrong. He likes sending up kind of big ships.
Power.
Well, mining. He calls them mining vessels. The things he has mounted on the front of these massive drill bits that come off and spiral towards the asteroids he's mining are absolutely terrifying.
Ah dear. What is he like, eh?
Yeah, he's still going with the whole my company is a mining company and I accidentally on purpose mined your ship, lols.
Ah dear. What is he like?
Well, mental. There is one thing you have failed to do, though.
Which is...
You failed to introduce the corporation you will be working for.
Oh, yes. Well, you're Cryax Industries. We've got Nightshade, and I think I'll be... I allowed you the use of the Tuxedo name in your series, did I not, as a cameo? He says, allowed. So I think I'll be taking the part of Tuxedo Industries, because why not?
So your tag is going to be TI?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
I thought so.
I look forward to seeing you on the battlefield.
I'm sure you do, bitch.
Pew pew pew! Remember, rockets hit harder when you scream pew 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 at the screen.
Pew pew pew! I sort of have a plan. It's just not working out very well right now.
Okay. Well, generally what I find with building big ships, not little ones, but with big ships, it's a good idea to build the internal frame, kind of what you're doing now. You're building like the insides, and once you've built the frame, put any weapons you want to put on it. This is a satellite, so it's probably not going to be weaponized. And then once you've done that, add armor, because the armor will help brace it all.
Yarp.
The only bad thing about that big armor, that big stuff, is its strength is so much that if you hit that armor right, it will peel apart your ship as opposed to let go of its neighbour.
Oh goody.
It's very, very, very strong. So if it's not mounted on something that is strong, your ship, the armor will stay attached to itself, but it'll pull apart the inside of your ship and just drift off in different directions. It's just like made with super glue.
Good times.
So yeah, just a little warning. Sometimes the armor that will peel off and deplete the force as ablative armor is better than this super strong stuff. Okay. So you're building yourself a little station. Is this going to be manned or unmanned?
Unmanned. There's already an AI module here.
Okay, so no Kerbin's lives were wasted in the making of this disaster.
Unfortunately. Or fortunately, however you look at it.
Okay, cool. Pretty much all my satellites are unmanned.
And... boop.
Okay, that looks relatively tough and strong and a bit of a target, I must admit, but to completely disable it, I need to either split it in the middle, and even then it'll still be dockable. Because if I smash any one part of that, the other parts will still work. It's quite good. Nope, what's your thought process there?
Something to attach to the side of the rocket so I can put armor plating on, as Sir suggested. Oh wait. Nope.
Yeah, those blocks are good. I don't know. Do you want to make ankle plating, and also will the plating get in the way of the docking ports? I'm
hoping that there will be okay. All we need now is something long and thin. No, that's protective railing.
Just right. You've got square plating, but at the top you've got the smaller square plates that you can link together. So you can make a row of them, if that makes any sense. Those join onto each other like any other armour. I tend to find though, because this is part of the mod pack, things tend to attach to these armour plates more readily than the standard armour plates. It's like these have designed to have stuff clipped onto them.
Oh, no.
You almost had it. Yeah, there we go.
There we go, how's about that?
That's pretty good. I've got to be a good shot to be able to hit anywhere in the middle. I mean, I can hit it top and bottom, but yeah.
And I'm not going to strut it just because you said about the whole, you want bits to come away from it as opposed to...
I'd suggest strutting it with weak strut because they still have a very slight aerodynamic property which might cause you trouble when launching. They might peel off and try and break your ship on launching.
Okie dokie.
So I'd attach something to them just to stop them wobbling and pulling and being a bit silly. Also, if they're joined to each other, it means that if you try and break one, it will, up to a point, rely on the strength of those around it. It's like, you know, when you reinforce an engine.
Yep.
You don't just reinforce it to the stack in the middle. You reinforce them to each other as well to stop them flexing.
Oh, that's why I've been going wrong all these years. I see now.
It's the same kind of theory.
Anyway.
Same theory as that, really. But struts are also impactable surfaces, so you can use them to help cover up small bits that you don't want stuff to get into. There is such a thing as shrapnel in this game, and it does happen sometimes. The best example is, you know, when you break your solar panels when you're coming down through the atmosphere and you see them peel off?
Yep.
That's shrapnel. And you can produce that in explosions.
Yay! Explosions!
Yeah. Explosions, wee!
We like explosions. Anyway, taking what you said on board about redundancies, there's some generators behind the panels now.
Oh, that's more than enough.
Yes.
So you got RCS. If you've got RCS thrusters, you have...
Yes.
Yeah. You've got plenty of solar panels. You're just going to cover it in solar panels, aren't you?
Maybe.
Are you going to use the solar panels as ablative surfaces?
Maybe.
That's quite a cool idea. I'm not quite sure how strong they are when you hit them with something, but yeah, why not?
It's like a form of armor plating that isn't armor plating, if you know what I mean.
It's ablative armor plating.
It doesn't count.
But these are the solar panels that fold out, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So
Yep.
they'll make you a bigger target, but which means that people may try and shoot at you from further away, and therefore would have more high chance of missing the critical components in the middle.
And I was about to say, stop finding flaws in my plans!
It's not a flaw, it's a good thing.
Everybody hear that? 44's saying something good about me.
A few of my
Mark this day in the
satellites
calendar.
are on the same idea, where they've got bits that stick out, that make the thing look a hell of a lot bigger, but all these things that stick out that you can blow off don't do shit.
There we go. Now I've just set them all to an action group, I think, maybe?
Yeah, sure.
No, that'll take
Might I
too long.
suggest the info drive? If you go to science and you just stick one of them somewhere on your craft, you don't need to be able to see it or click on it, but when you stick it on the craft, it gives you the option of... It doesn't do anything, but you can type on it what your button controls are, so that when you do come back to this, you'll find out what the button controls are for, which it's really useful for things like weapons.
Okay.
It's got different setups and stuff.
I'll say I'll be more than happy to stick one of those on my weaponless satellite.
I don't know. I just thought you might like to try out a new part.
Maybe next time.
Okay.
Time.
Batteries. You've got batteries. You've got RCS. You've got thrusters.
We've got a battery. That'll do us.
Yeah. With the amount of generation you've got, you're not going to need to store much.
We've got RCS thrusters.
You've got an insane amount of batteries.
Generators, solar panels, yada yada yada. Lots of communitron things.
Yep. Looks like a fairly good little station that you got there. Now, set up your command controls and also develop something that's going to get it into orbit.
This will be fun. How do I click on multiple thingies, by the way? Is it shift?
It might be. I generally don't do that. I do them one at a time.
It's not letting me do shift or control, so oh well.
It might not be a function that was implemented by that time. We are playing an older version.
It's true. It's true. There we go, that's all them done to action group 1. Communitrons, I should set them up really, shouldn't I?
Yeah. Me, I'm usually fairly lazy with little things like communitrons. I'll toggle them manually. I've got into the habit of saving all of the custom button layout things for weapons and stuff.
As you do.
And like armour that folds out of the way and cool things.
Do you ever worry, Mr. 4040, that you got a bit too much time on your bloody hands?
Well, you'd think, but I haven't. I've developed a few different craft that work, but I haven't got like a whole army of them. But in general, you'll develop one craft, then launch it multiple times until you decide to develop Mark II of it. Because, you know, you're an army, you wouldn't be expected to launch a new vehicle every time, would you?
Anyway, I'm going to need to switch that. Oh, wait, go back to parts. That needs to come off.
Does it? No, it doesn't.
No? How do I connect something to it now then?
Well, if we put that on, let's go to, let's try aerodynamic for a second.
Yep.
And just start flicking through. I'm looking for a specific set of parts that you could use. You see these things here? Yeah.
Bearings, yeah.
Yeah. That's one set. They're fairing bases, which act as decouplers.
Whoa.
Now, if it won't attach, it's fine. Never mind. Oh, I see your problem. You see that the fairing couplers don't have the little dots coming off them? Which means that it doesn't have an attachment point, which means you can't attach anything to it, so you're gonna have to rubbish the bottom one. Unfortunately.
Told you.
Yeah. You're right. There's
I
all
was
kinds
right
of
about something,
decouplers. There's decouplers that kind of like there's the standard flat ones like that, but you see there's these cone ones, these cone shaped ones there. They're not. If you go into the middle, there's those are decouplers. They're not nose cones. All they're meant to do is like fit around an object and offer more stability when going to a bigger size. You see, no, the other way around.
But it would not go, Mr. 4040. Oh shit.
I would. Right.
Ah, my god.
That's how it works. You see that? It's but it's picked up the other stuff. But if you've got a particularly lengthy rocket that you want stabilising, that adds aerodynamic properties. Probably don't want to use that one because it's a bit too tall, unless you want to add more length.
That sort of works.
I'm not sure what that would do when it comes off. You might get weird explosions and things breaking because it's kind of buried.
Let's play safe and leave it. Leave it.
But just showing you like different parts and stuff. These are really good. Those are really good if you've got a particularly long, thin payload, and then you've got a big rocket booster. Those help fit around and cut down on aerodynamic drag, and also help stabilise it.
Fair enough. Right, where am I going anyway? Utility, but why am I in bloody structural? Clampatron, that might be able to let us do what we want to do.
It will do, but yeah, and now if you put a decoupler directly onto it.
Oh, okay.
Like just a flat decoupler, that'll work. It will need to...
Where are decouplers again?
They're at the end of... there. There's those ones there. You've also got super flat ones in the middle as well, but you've got your standard one there.
Yep.
Okay, you happy with that?
Yes.
Alright, so whatever you're going to put underneath it is up to you. I tend to prefer to put a short stubby directly underneath the module, and then putting very tall, very high around the module in its own right, kind of encasing it. That way things like stability issues and weird aerodynamics shouldn't be a problem because it's encased, as opposed to balancing it on the end of a very big rocket. You haven't added mech-jeb to this.
Not yet, no.
I'd suggest plonking it on, not if you don't want to use it as an aid to help you build, to help you. If you don't want it to be lazy and launch it for you, that's fine, but it's really good at working out how heavy you are, how much delta V you've got, and it gives you a really good indication of whether the thing you built will even get out of the atmosphere.
We may as well give it a shot, mightn't we?
Yeah. Plus, it also acts as another control device. So if your little robot body thing there gets damaged, you can actually use the mech jib. I see it's popped up at the side. Where you got. You see where it says Delta V status and vessel info. Those are quite useful when building.
Max acceleration 0, vessel mass. Oh, that's... Why have we not got that in vanilla? 24 ton already.
Yep. So that's payload. You've got 24.36 ton payload. So you've got to get that into space. The Delta V status basically tells you about your different stages, what the Delta V is in the atmosphere and vacuum, and that's kind of important, and how long you can burn in seconds.
Fair enough. That is... don't
just
worry
settings
about that.
and stuff.
That is also the same sort of thing.
Yep.
Right, fairings. Let's put fairing on here.
Oh, you're going to try and encase it?
Yes, I do believe that the dots went around this quite nicely.
The way that works, you've got to put the nose cone on first.
Eh?
The nose cone on the fairing part goes on first, which is like the half nose coney thing, whichever is the right size.
Yeah, I put a 3.5 on the bottom, so I want a 3.5. Wait, what's
3 point?
Let me just double check. Hold on. 3.75. Okay.
Yep.
That
so
one, then.
you have to put the nose cone on first. That's the way they work. That's what those dots are. So you find the dot, you orientate it to the dot.
No.
It needs to be facing. It needs to be facing the craft. See, you got. Oh yeah. See, it's dots on the side, not dots backwards and forwards.
Yep.
Match it up with the dots on the side, then spin it around until it's facing in the right direction. There you go. Or not. Okay, what are you trying to do now?
Make it fit.
Okay, you've got to hover. You see it's got a tiny little green dot on it.
Yeah.
You've got to mate that tiny little green dot up to the green dots that are currently hovering around the craft.
Ah.
If it's not fitting, it could be that you've got the wrong size.
It's going ×4 for no bloody reason. Why is it doing ×4?
Probably because it's a quarter size. It's a quarter of a circle. It's not half, which means it's going to naturally try and... Which means you've probably picked up the wrong size one, maybe?
Thirds. We'll try that one.
Okay.
Nope. It's the little dot, wasn't it? Little dot to the... There we go.
That's it. And
Okay.
now you can add the sidewall,
Which is the
bit that's going to surround it. Again, you've got to pick the right size to match. There you go. And you've got to orientate it so you've got to hold it. Yeah. Again, it has green dots. You've got to hold it so its green dots match up with the green dots on the thing on top. And it's the big green dots this time, not the little ones. So
I see there, I see, yes. So we really want expanded ones, don't we? Because then they'll definitely fit. Hear me out. Expanded. Okay. Oh no, still doesn't quite fit. What's that all about?
It doesn't quite fit because the base doesn't match. Basically, I'm trying to explain to you that when you pick one of these up, you get lots of little green dots appear everywhere, right?
Yep, I see that much.
The tiny green dots are for you to match the nose cones up with, and the tiny green dots are based off the fairing base that the craft is sat on. The big green dots coming off the nose cone are what you have to make the big green dots on the fairing wall with. And you have to spin them around. There you go, like that. That's it. But it's going red because it's conflicting with other stuff. So your craft's a bit too wide for that particular base.
Okay, so let's try the bigger nose. I will make this fit, goddammit. I will. Nope.
Won't. It doesn't fit because it doesn't match what you've got on the bottom. If you change the size of something, you have to change that as well.
So is there an expanded base then? Oh yes, there is. Oh, duh. There we go.
There you go. That's why it wasn't working for you. See, that one has the tiny little dots that move around with it. That's where the nose cone has to go. When you pick the nose cone up, right? You see, right? Stop wheel. Stop moving. Right. You see the nose cone has got 2 of its own dots.
Yes.
You see, you just match those dots up with the ones that are floating around the outside.
Yes.
That's how it works.
Yes.
And then that works, and then you put the next one on, and all of a sudden, your entire package is encased and aerodynamic.
Holy shit, we are good.
Which means no stupid. Well, it might still wobble around if it's not secured, but because of air resistance, it won't wobble around.
Right, so how do I pick that up and move it up then? It's shift and... Yes, there we go.
Same as usual, really.
Just double checking it hasn't changed with the mods or anything, so now it's just a case of doing my favourite part. Power!
Yeah. I'd suggest tying the... if you notice now you've added this on, it counts as different decouplers. I tie them to an action group, because you've got... You see the nose cone splits in half, that's why it's a sideways splitting thing. The nose cone will split in half and peel open.
Okay.
And the bottom one is the eject one for the actual whole thing. So it's basically 2 decouplers in one.
So I want to merge them together then?
You can do if you want to. A lot of people, it's probably best to open it first and let those 2 massive parts spiral off before you have your craft eject from the base. So yeah, like that. A lot of people, once they've gone out of atmosphere, just feck it off anyway because it's extra weight to have to lug around. You don't need its aerodynamic properties anymore. A lot of people eject it manually, but ejecting it manually is really fucking fiddly, and that's why I suggested attaching it to an action group so you can decouple it when you need it to, without having to fiddle around. Anyway, now you get to add the power. Basically, you've got a whole lot of massive parts you can play with. Are you looking for the biggest part, or...?
The biggest.
Biggest. Next page.
That's not it. Next page, eh?
Next page. Right, those 2. See the orange on the second row? There's an orange one and there's a white-black one. They're both the same size, they just got different textures.
Ooh, power!
They're the biggest ones you can get if you look how much fuel's actually inside them.
What? Is that a typo?
No.
Right,
no, it's not. It's literally ×4 of the big fuel tank. So it's ×4 weight, ×4 size, ×4 capacity.
Okay.
Which also goes with the ×4 engines, which you want the biggest engines you can get.
That'd be these ones then? No.
Nope. I think it's the bottom ones. Yeah. Those ones are the size. You see those?
Go on, sorry.
See those 3 sections of engines, 3 rows?
Yep.
Yep.
Different sizes?
They're all different sizes, designed to fit with the new sizes of engines. Plus, some of them are the normal size, but they've got different ISPs and different powers.
So here's a question: are we allowed to do test launches?
You can do a test launch, but if you accidentally get your test launch into a stable orbit, it counts as a launch. So in other words, as long as you don't put it into a stable orbit and it crashes and it burns, then you're okay.
Fair enough, so let's bring up the Delta V stats and the vessel info. I don't know what I'm looking at here. Shit.
Okay, so it's telling you your stage 2, which is the power, that in atmosphere it can get you up to a maximum of 3,855 meters per second.
Okay.
And in vacuum it'll get you 4,509 meters per second, but it's going to run out after 3 minutes 14 seconds, which I don't think is going to be enough. Max acceleration is 12. Yeah, you're going to accelerate at 12.04 meters per second for 3 minutes.
That's not a lot.
No.
Right, I need some decouplers and I'll duplicate these bits. That's what I'll do. Yes.
Okay. Yep.
No, wait, we've got new bits, haven't we? Solid fuel.
Yes.
Where's the solid fuel?
Now you've got solid fuel boosters that burn for an insane amount of time. The biggest one, which is on the 3rd row on the left, that's the biggest one you can get. It's fairly slow burning, and it goes on forever.
But
don't you want decouplers or anything to attach them?
But look at the power.
Yeah, they burn. Those are the kind of solid fuel boosters that burn all the way up into space. And if you've got a fairly light craft for what they're used to, you'll want to get rid of them before they've run out. And they have a habit of blowing your craft up because they're so big.
The power.
Little note
yes.
above. Sorry, back to the power stage. Okay, the 2nd row. There are 2 which look almost identical. Yep. That one and that one. Except, yep, there's that one if you want to pull that one out. And then the other one looks the same, more or less, but it's shorter. They both have the same power, just one runs out before the other.
Okay.
Dave's,
Nightshade?
Nightshade's been caught out by that and has had all of his boosters run out. Except for those, but he's afraid to let them go because they'll just launch up and destroy his craft.
Tee-hee.
And he's end up plummeting back to Earth and going booms. Well, I've been sitting there going, tee-hee.
You're evil.
I wasn't going to mention anything. Remember, you can use your standard ejectors and then use the super strong struts to hold everything together.
This is true. So 6 times.
Okay.
Propulsion.
Are you just going to slap the biggest one on, just for lols?
Fuck yes.
They are impressive when they go, I must say.
Is that connected?
That's kind of wonky. Are they on? Yeah, they're on.
That's on, and it's not wonky at all. What are you on about?
You just have to make sure to reinforce them because those weigh almost as much as your entire middle stage. They are heavy.
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 Structural.
Because the same in life, with lots of power comes lots of weight.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, we'll settle for that one. Great responsibility. PHAT.
Oh, no, don't go there then. Bloody thing!
But yeah, I mean, you're using super big parts, but the theory is still the same as building with the normal stuff. They all work the same. They're just bigger.
I can't do anything.
If you lost your stuff, pick it up again. Try it again. No, I mean like pick up the part from the menu again and try attaching a new one.
I've got nothing. I can't zoom, I can't move, I can't click on anything.
That's interesting because everything's greyed out up at the top as well.
I can't oh, this is a pain in the ass. Have we lost it?
Have you glitched the game?
Yay! They should have autosaved, shouldn't it?
I'd hope so.
I can't go back. Shit.
Oh, I've had this glitch a couple of times.
Help, 4040, what do I do? All I did was do Control Z to undo something.
Alright, I've had this happen 2 times. One of the times forced me to rebuild the craft identically from the scratch because it glitched. Somehow the game save file glitched. I don't know why yours is glitching. I don't know why. The game hasn't frozen because you can see the background moving. And it's still able to check stuff. What do we put on last? Try removing what we put on last. That sometimes works.
That's that was the strut that I tried to find and would not move.
Right, delete those big things.
I can't. I can't click on them. I can't do anything.
Okay.
I can't even control Z. I can't change the symmetry. I can't change anything.
Sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like Mr. Mod is going to have to force shut his game.
Yes, I'm going to call that an episode there, and we shall see you next time when we actually get this thing up into orbit. Bye bye, guys.
See you later, guys. Bye now.